Welcome to What in the World, a project initiated by Hungry for Life International. Today's podcast is titled A Drop in the Bucket Recap, and Jess will be interviewing Abby Blundell and Tatyana Martz. So grab your headphones, sit back, relax, and listen as we hear about how the fundraiser went.
Hi, and welcome back to another week of What in the World podcast, where we talk about all things to do with running a global nonprofit. I am not hosting today. Abby is going to host.
Yes.
Hi, Abby.
Because I've got some questions for Jessica.
She's got some questions for me.
Yeah, because Jessica was actually a huge part in planning this recent fundraiser that we've had. You've probably seen lots about it. The Drop in the Bucket auction.
I hope so. Yep.
Yeah, so we're just going to talk a little bit about how it went, what the goals were, and then what the outcome was.
Yeah. So this is going to be a short and sweet podcast with the outcome of telling you how much you all raised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
how many drops were in the bucket?
You know what? If I hear that again... we even just sent out an email today telling people about the final number, and I said, dare I say again another drop in the bucket. And we also have Tatyana Martz here. Hello, Tatyana.
Hey.
We are grooming her to come on staff at Hungry for Life.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
We're preparing her.
She's not really kidding.
But Tatyana also played a role in our fundraiser, and we'll get to that. But anyways, host. I was going to say co-host, but you're hosting, so go for it.
That's me. I'm the host. So this was the first year for a while that we've had an event in person.
Yes.
How was that?
Way more work. Yeah, it was a lot of work, but as everyone said, it was so good to be back in person, and I think totally necessary to connect with our donors again.
Absolutely.
If you are in the development department of any nonprofit, you understand the benefit to having an in-person event. It's like finally good to see people in person. So
yeah. And I think in any sphere, like everyone's just really looking forward to spending time with people, especially around the holidays. People want to have an excuse to dress up and come out and spend time with people. And
absolutely.
See people that they wouldn't ordinarily see. So
yep, for sure, it was really good. What do you guys think of being in person again? Have you been to a fundraiser before?
Yeah, I was there apparently when I was really little, but I don't remember that. Okay. And then I went one time after I went to Kenya. Okay. And I sold jewelry. So I remember that. But every other year, everyone just makes me babysit. So I'm stuck at home. But no, it was nice. And I saw a lot of people that I haven't seen in a really long time. And a lot of people that I didn't remember, but they remembered me because of my parents. So that was a little bit scary. But
you also look like a spitting image of both of them. Like, I don't know how that works.
I know. It's really weird. I really do think I am 50-50.
You are.
Them. Exactly. But yeah. So, but it was good. I thought it was good. What about you, Abby?
Yeah,
what do you think?
I really enjoyed being in person. I think there's just something really cool about like connection and like in-person events, and there's so many people that you wouldn't really think to like reach out to when you don't spend time with people in person, and then all of a sudden you see them and you're like, oh my goodness, what a joy.
Yeah.
To see you.
Totally. Yeah, you bet.
Okay, so what was the difference between the online and the in-person auction?
Oh, other than Cliff being funnier in person. Just kidding, Cliff. You did a great job. Yeah, like I said, online was way more work. No, less work. But in person was, I think we covered it. Just far better relationally. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true.
And another thing, too, I just thought about it right this second, but even for, like, Cliff to, like, make the jokes and not know if people are laughing, and you make a joke and it's just, like, silence. Like, that would be so awkward. Yeah. So that was probably a lot nicer to have.
So glad the COVID years are over.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Well, you never know.
Just knock on wood.
Take a big house.
Okay. Okay.
So there was a few key elements to the evening, and there was a few key messages of the evening. There was a video that kind of spread throughout the evening that talked about kind of HFL and how we work, and then there was a few different people that shared. So talk about some of the elements that went into the evening.
Right, yeah. So planning an event like this, you really want to, like big picture, have that thread of consistency throughout the whole evening. And that's why you overheard the phrase, a drop in the bucket. Don't get your dad started on that.
I've heard it at home.
And this year, because of everything that's been happening in Ukraine and like the 3,000 new donors that we have, we really wanted to showcase who we are as an organization. So it was kind of old hat for a lot of our guests this year to hear what we did or what we do. But the video, I don't know if people caught this. I talked to a few different people who were like, I didn't really understand it. And other people were like, we loved it. So like we broke it down into four parts, a 4-part video. And like, I hope you guys understood it. Did you guys understand it?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
I mean, I kind of tracked with the process of like writing the script a little bit.
Right. You did help write the script.
Understanding like the idea behind it, the initial idea.
Yeah.
And then kind of going from there. So I understood it. I didn't personally talk to anyone that didn't understand it, but
it was my family or friends, so shame on them. But it was sorry, what?
I was just gonna say so share like what it was.
So like part 1 was like we wanted it to be like a story, so it was chapter 1 and chapter 2, and it was walking our guests and new donors through the process of how we engage groups and like how we get them like on field. Another term that we're trying to drop. Sorry, Chad. Excuse me. I'm not sick. So like engaging new groups, and that's like talking to our field partners and getting them to write down on a piece of paper, like if you could dream of anything that would further your ministry, what would it be? And then they would write it on like, the idea was like a scrap piece of paper and like show it to the camera. And then us as project managers would compile all those ideas, put them in the bucket and bring them home. And TJ literally lugged the same bucket all over the world.
On planes.
To get footage. Like it's just
sitting with the bucket on his lap.
And then walking through it, like at the end of the day, we would dump like the ideas of the field partners and like the local partners all on the table and say like, hey, these skill sets meet these needs and let's match them up and like let's create that thread, and then so that was kind of the movie in its entirety, other than Ukraine threw a real monkey wrench. Your country, I tell you.
Stunning.
How
Love
it. But also like showcasing how 19 years of relationship building in Ukraine brought us to this point that God knew that that we needed roots in Ukraine. And so that was also a big part of the video. And we really, this is not every year, but we really did want to highlight Ukraine because we do have such deep connections through your family. And it's just been like a God thing in the works for the last 19 years. And why not give glory to God, like at the fundraiser and showcase that? And so that was sort of that. That was the video part of it. Yeah. And then the resolution of like life change here, life change there, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I hope people understood that. So if you're listening and you didn't catch that, I hope now you can kind of see that. But yeah.
Another one of the elements of the evening was a song specifically written for Hungry for Life and for this event, and surrounding kind of the idea of the conflict going on in Ukraine, but also the idea of just being a part of like heartbreak and injustice in different ways. So tell us about that.
I want to revert to Tatyana on that one.
Oh, no.
So I know Amberly wrote the song. Did you write with her at all, or was it just more so the performance aspect of that?
I was more like, I didn't end up editing, if that makes any sense, but it was just more of like, she wrote it and then she's like, oh, we should try to like do something together, but then like we never found time, and then she ended up finishing it, and then I just listened to it, and then we kind of like adjusted. But it was Amberly. She knows what she's talking about.
That girl does. And in fact, I just asked her to be on another podcast, and you to talk about the story behind the song, because
get to see this face again.
Lucky yes. I hope your teachers don't watch. Me too. This is after hours. So because Amberly was in Ukraine with us, and a lot of the heart behind that song came from there. So we'll talk about that another time. But I thought that was a really, really, you did so good. So good. So many comments on the song.
Praise Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what was the song about?
Song was about what we can do to help, and like I think Emily just did a really good job about it. She she described what's going on in people's lives. Like the beginning goes like, while we are gathered here, families are torn apart by war and peace, and like she did a bunch of those types of things where we kind of like could put ourselves in their position. Yeah. And then it just says what we can do, and we can like put a drop in the bucket, which I just thought she did a really, really, really great job.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. So that's kind of what it was about. And then my dad did a speech about Ukraine.
Did.
And it took him forever to do. It was so hard for him to write the speech. Oh yeah. But he did, and he made it through it. And he just talked about, what did he talk about specifically?
Well, he talked about your guys' time in Ukraine during the war, and like he said, shed some really good light on stuff that none of us would ever have known.
Right.
Like we see news headlines, but we don't hear the stories of the refugees who came into your home. And I think he did a really good job. Like I know he did an amazing job. Yeah. Martz family took the show. Yeah.
What did I say?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges with organizing and facilitating an event like this? Like every year, putting on this kind of event.
The stinking sickness that swept over the Fraser Valley.
Yeah, hey.
It was worse than COVID. Are we allowed to say that word anymore? I don't know. But like, we had so many people cancel. I was right panicking, but that's okay. We ended up having around 400 people. No, probably like 3.
It was full though.
It was. Let's just say it was full.
It was like it felt full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and other challenges, like, you know, like as a planner, my only goal was for people to walk home feeling inspired with the work that God is doing through Hungry for Life that they can partner with. So trying to form that into a message and a fun evening, it's hard. But I hope that people left feeling like I'm not going to say it, their donation, contribution. I wanted them to drop. I wanted them to personally feel like their hearts were in it, and that we value every single person. And so that the challenge is always messaging and communicating. It's not even like logistics. It's not like, okay, table 10 needs another seat, or like whatever it is. It's like I don't even care about that. Much to Heidi's dismay.
She's
but it's like, it's just, to me, it's all about the message that is left in people's hearts after the evening. So I hope and pray that was that. But
yeah, that's actually a good insight, because I feel like a lot of people that were looking at that night were thinking, oh, it takes so much work to organize, and all the practical implications of needing to organize all the seating and the items and all those things. But yeah, you're right, it is a lot of work to think about, okay, how do we actually communicate well, and not have it be like super just like deep the entire time, but have it be a night where people can feel connected and joyful and laugh and have fun. And
I think an MC plays a big role in that.
Absolutely.
Like to transition from Chad to the live auction.
Oh my word. He killed that.
Yeah.
Well, he just acknowledged that it's a bit.
Yeah, he did acknowledge that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's really great.
Another thumbs up for Cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this podcast, we have an announcement to make,
which is already out, technically.
Yeah.
But we're filming this on the day we just sent the email.
Yeah.
But okay, so we had a goal. Is that where you're going with this?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was like, am I jumping ahead of this? Okay.
No. We have an announcement.
The goal was
the amount that we made, the amount that was raised in the auction.
What was the goal?
250,000, and we didn't make it. I'm just kidding. Silly.
Could you imagine? That would just be like, and it didn't happen.
Better luck next year.
But here we are.
Just stare at the camera in like sadness and disappointment, you know?
Lucky for us, God is bigger.
Yeah.
And we have 277,000 and change.
Yay!
Huge shout out to the
God
big
is
guy.
good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was that. Like, I know this is like a weird podcast, but the goal was just like to give a bit of like behind the scenes glimpse and just for people to understand like our heart is to honor and glorify God in this, and he will provide what we need. And he did. And before I kind of approached this goal situation as like, hey, this is just kind of like what's on our hearts and minds, but like God knows our budget.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the extra 27,000 is going to do. Maybe, yeah, 27,000. Keep that in the back of your minds when we have budget meetings. Yeah. A Sprinter van, Tatyana says, for Ukraine. Ooh.
I'm just saying, $22,000.
Well, you know what? You guys already got $3 million.
But also, yeah, there are, our churches.
I know. I was just kidding.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's kind of that. So I'll let the host wrap it up from here.
Yeah, so we had an amazing evening. Thank you guys so much to the ones that came out and enjoyed the evening with us and heard the song and the speeches and all of the bid on all the auctions. There were so many people that bid that weren't even there.
Yes.
There was a lot of online presence as well, which was cool to experience with people in person and also people that couldn't physically be there for different reasons. So that was really exciting. Yeah, and we just wanted to come on here and share a little bit about how grateful we are for what God did and the goal and how it was met by the Lord.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening. Tune in next time for
a special treat. I don't know what it's going to be yet.
Well, you will see Tatyana back.
Yeah.
In a podcast to come.
Yeah.
So you can look forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for hosting.
Oh, anytime.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to What in the World, where we seek to educate and inspire. Here at Hungry for Life, we are passionate about your group having a global impact in eradicating needless suffering. For more information, head over to our website at hungryforlife.org, and you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you may listen to podcasts. Tune in every other week for another conversation about what is happening at Hungry for Life.